Not long ago, Tesla had their biggest recall ever, and just a day or two ago, they had their smallest recall ever. What does it mean? How does it work? And why do recalls even matter? This is a new digital age we're in, and we're going to have someone here to discuss it with me. Jan from Tesla Fix has got some mind to get blown, and we are going to do that. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. So, Jan... He's ready. He's ready. I asked him in the green room about this particular topic, and he said, wow, no, tell me about it. And I said, oh, no, we're saving it for the show because it's just too good. So there's a slide I wanted to share with you here. Federal regulators finds Tesla Autopilot has critical safety gaps linked to hundreds of collisions. Now, I'm always the first to say these guys may not be that much trustworthy. You're telling me there were 467 collisions and 13 fatalities. Those numbers strain credulity. I find those to be a little too high. And it's saying autopilot, but it's saying autopilot. It's not FSD, it's autopilot. Have you ever seen someone use a car in a manner that the manufacturer would tell you is not prescribed?
Never, ever. Every other car company is pristine, and we don't have these kinds of.
It's not about the companies. It's about their drivers. You know those little undersized replacement wheels, the donuts that you put on when you have a blowout?
Yep.
The temporary spare. You ever seen someone on the highway with one of those?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't go on the highway. They're not rated for highway speeds. So are we going to get angry at cars that somehow allow... Now, Tesla could determine if one of the wheels is the wrong size and limit the speed. If it detects that you're using a safety, a temporary donut, it could limit the speed. Tesla doesn't have those available with their cars, but if they detected it, should they be forced to do a recall to prevent idiots from doing stupid things? I think a recall would be a scary term for what it is. If we go back here,
Absolutely.
We say that federal authorities say a critical safety gap contributed to the collisions. I'd like to know what those are. Tesla Autopilot has led to foreseeable misuse. Okay, so we acknowledge. Jeez. Now, my problem with this is these agencies give a free pass to everyone else. Rivian.
That's what I meant before, yeah. If it's not Tesla, that's what I meant before with my anecdote.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That if it's about Tesla, then it's a problem. If it's not about Tesla, then it's not a problem. Yeah. A lot of forces here against that.
Rivian had camera cabins with eyeball tracking and attentiveness monitoring, and they first disabled, and now they just don't put them in the cars. What? Or, hey, if they've determined that that's safe enough, great, but what? How does that work? There have already been deaths on Blue Cruise because the driver monitoring is not adequate. Where's the endless headlines? Where's the outrage? So,
but Brian, it doesn't drive clicks. So why should they report about the safety critical feature that's missing?
Because the government agency doesn't need clicks. They need safety. They need safety. So, in the green room, I asked you, do you know how, let's say your Toyota and your BZ4X has loose wheel problems. How do you know how many vehicles to recall?
By the production number, the VIN number, for example.
Well, but how do you know which cars are affected? How do you know? So we got a bad batch of bolts, one box of bolts. How do I know which cars those bolts went into? Do I recall all the cars just in case? Do I not recall any because the percentage is too low? So when you make a car...
So it's about times, when it's produced from that to that time, maybe?
It's even better. When you make a car at the factory, it creates a digital twin. And it knows the torque on this bolt on this VIN number.
Ah, okay.
So if we torqued to 32 pounds instead of 35 or whatever it may be, we know which cars had that. We can see which cars have which problems, which means, in theory, what is the smallest recall you could imagine happening? Check out this slide. Tesla recalls one Model 3 over a faulty airbag. One. Because it was built without a gas deflector inside its airbag module, but has now been repaired. One Model 3 was recalled, a 2024 Model Y sedan. The car had already been recalled and repaired by the time NHTSA announced the recall, because of course it had. We've recorded some enormous recalls over the years, programs that involve millions of cars, but at the other end of the spectrum, there's just one car. The lone U.S.,
Jesus Christ, they didn't have the time to
No.
before it was
No.
fixed. Jesus Christ, funny.
And Tesla is more proactive with their recalls than most manufacturers. We saw there was a Cybertruck fest already.
Yep.
And there was a gathering of 20, 30 cars, maybe 40 Cybertrucks in one place for this special event. And they get there and there's a service tech and he's like, hi, can I put the rivet on your accelerator pedal, please? It's your recall. Can I do it? And they're like, yes. And he went around all 30, 40 trucks and just popped the rivet in. It takes less than a minute each. And you've already knocked out 1% of your recalls in 3 hours, 2 hours.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've heard about that as well, because the problem with the Cybertruck was that the pedal, actually, the cover for the gas pedal, just when you pressed it,
It didn't in any of the test vehicles, but there are rare circumstances when that could happen. Let's just make it not happen. And it wasn't as safety critical as people made it out to be. Oh, my pedal got stuck. Do you know what happens? Have you ever touched the brake at the same time as the accelerator? The car stops. Yeah. It just stops. It doesn't overpower the motors. It cancels the motors. So it wasn't as critical as people who've never driven a Tesla made it out to be. But Tesla's very proactive. When a story I love to tell is when the hood latch was recalled on Chinese-made Model 3s, Will from Tesla Jigsaw was driving across England on a holiday weekend when he knew the charger would be busy. Well, he puts in his destination. It says stop here to charge. And when he gets there, there are service techs who walk over and say, Will, yes, Tesla service tech, obviously, we need to check your hood latch. And they sat there all weekend and banged through hundreds of recalls that people just wouldn't bother coming in for. It's probably not an issue. We just need to look. And if it is, we just replace the latch and you're on your way. And not only are we getting through hundreds of these, if we'd have done mobile appointments, it would have taken weeks to get this many done. And because I'm only replacing and examining one part, I know exactly what to look for and I can do it so much quicker. And it results in net safety. So they know what they're looking for. They know how to do it. And thanks to these digital twins that know every bolt that went into your car, every nut, every rivet, the digital twin can tell you these are the exact cars. If there was one supplier who was off on a particular spec, we found that these bolts tend to shear. We know which vehicles have them and exactly where. And it's not that much of a new thing. But other manufacturers clearly aren't quite as dialed in if we're just reporting that Tesla had a recall of one car. I would joke with people. I interviewed a gentleman whose company made these augmented reality goggles that tell you what to do. Do this, do this, do this. And it would say...
With the overlay, yeah.
Yeah, with the overlay. And it would say, you torqued it to 28 pounds. It needs to be 30. We will not show you the next step until you finish that. Okay, it's 30. And with that, I said, so with this, you could literally have a recall of one car. He said, yes, you could. Yes, you could. Hasn't happened yet, but you could. And now we know it can happen.
That's
very
awesome.
Exciting. Very exciting. So I told you, and we're just going to go into a little overtime here. There's an overtime story. Let's say that. But first we will say, do me a favor. I know he says not to, but check out Tesla Fix. He's not a fan, but I am, and I think you will be too.
Actually, now you should check it out. You know why? Because I want to give you advice for my pyramid scheme that I sorry.
Reverse funnel.
You just it's good. I mean, check it out. I have a lot of videos about that, and I don't want to sell you something, I swear.
I have
It
a
works.
few thoughts I want to share about the ethnies. You know, and those are people of any ethnicity, including my own. We're the worst. Don't hang out with my people. But no, his channel's great. He has some fantastic guests, and it's always interesting and insightful. Also, we will both be at the Tesla Takeover in Austria in May. Please join us. Find us. You may get some swag. And also then you'll have the opportunity to see us in Muskegon for that big event in Michigan. The Michigan event, I am so excited. I helped them get it put together a bit. We've got Dirty Tesla. We've got Bearded Tesla. We've got myself, Jan. We've got Lars from Best in Tesla. We've got Sandy Monroe will be there. We've got John from the Silicon Valley Tesla Owners Club. We've got so many people. We've got Tesla Tino. I mean, the list goes on and on. We've got Bradford and Matt Smith from Rebellionaire. It's going to be a star-studded lineup. And other guests.
We also might have a Dirty Tesla with a beard. It could be.
With a beard? Okay.
Yeah, because bearded Tesla.
Right.
Dirty Tesla.
If they had a child together,
bad joke.
It would be a bearded, dirty child. I
don't.
I'll be honest. I don't know how any of that works because, Anyway, so the bonus story is there's a video I've been trying to make for months with my brother where he's never driven an EV. But he loves fast cars. And I wanted him to experience it and then get a chance to, and then go, oh, I forgot to take it out of chill. And then explain that you can actually download a performance bonus, a acceleration boost, and then take it out of and then download it right then and there. On the spot.
That's such a good idea.
And but I just can't, just like getting him to do electrical, I just can't get him to do it. So my buddy here in town who loves fast cars, who loves wrenching on cars, who's currently building a performance car of his own. He bought an old one. He's getting it into shape. He has never driven an EV, and he's got a huge personality. He's so much fun. And so he has agreed to be my buddy in the car, and we'll give him the full treatment, the walkthrough, show him all the things that he didn't know were there. And it's going to be so much fun. And I hope to get that out before I leave for the X Takeover. So that's fun.
That's a good idea. And I also have a similar idea with that because my mom never drove with the Tesla Model 3 Highland or any EV actually.
Oh.
And that's also fun. I'm gonna shoot a video one time. I don't know when, but that's a similar kind of not the same. I mean, your idea is way better, I would say, but it's also fun because she's very familiar with low tech cars. That's her like normal gas cars and never driven an EV as well. But your idea is probably better. So don't watch mine. Watch his video, please. Yeah, thanks.
Well, and I get to give him the version 12 experience. So
yeah, that's great.
I haven't
So
mentioned
jealous.
that part of him yet. So what did we miss? What did we misunderstand? Leave it in them comments below. And everybody, do me a favor, stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots. Maybe when I give you a test drive in my car too. We shall find out.